right after Murray got hurt.
Yo, man, I lost three dudes in that game, man. It was like one after the other. I was like, what's going on? Is this like a karma shot or something?
Hey
I'm
man,
like always saying, turn the injuries on, and they on all right.
we're gonna pay this season, dude. I didn't have no injuries last year, and Tevin went down like in this first half against Dan Pedro. I was pissed.
hmm And that's 4 weeks, right?
Yep, shoulder tear, whatever the fuck that is.
hmm
All right, we're live.
All right,
Let me
we
post a
are.
link.
Okay. Let me get the agenda.
This dude, he just texted me and said maybe I'm still cutting at work.
That's what he said.
Yep. So this game is probably not gonna get played, which kind of sucks.
Tonight's the advance, right?
Yes.
Uh, to the rookies. Who are these rookies? I gotta. You know who these rookies are?
I know most of them. I've been doing some research.
I might have to let you handle that one because I don't have. It's hard to keep up with these rookies.
Yeah,
Catch
I
changing names.
know. I mean, I know the main, like maybe the top 10 guys or so. So I think we'll be all right.
Mm, okay.
Bahamas dude got hurt against Lions. Actually, I'm gonna save
Oh,
this. I'm gonna save this story. 'Cause this shit is hilarious. All right, link is out. We're live.
All right. Welcome to another episode of SML Chalk Talk. I'm joined by my host, the often imitated but never duplicated Felonious Monk. How in the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. How are you? That is the key question for today because
We,
you kind of like won a championship and shit.
yeah, we are feeling uh, overwhelmed with joy, as you can imagine, and we apologize. It was at your expense of the ATL Falcons, but you know, we were happy to win it. Good look, good look. Good look. We
Hey, man.
appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, we should. I was thinking about this. Whoever wins the next bowl, we should definitely bring him in as a guest and certainly highlight the season because it is no small feat. I don't think everybody understands it. You did it 3 times last year. It is no small feat to do that. So that it just showed me how remarkable your journey was last year. And so we're honored, to be a SML champion. There's a lot of competition. So
It's not
I
easy,
think
man. It is and you know it, dude. It's a long road. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a shame because we're playing this game and everybody's thinking, it's just a game, but dude, it's pressure
yeah.
involved in that, man. You're thinking about it going to
Oh
the game, and
you
then you
know.
got people, then you got your opponent who's like hiring people to like chip away at your confidence all day. I don't know if BK told you this, but
What does that do? Chip
listen,
away at your
this guy.
confidence.
So BK starts sending me messages leading up to our
Uh,
game, like, "Yo, man, franchise is gonna kill you. I know you don't have the confidence you should have because you're sitting here talking about how deserving he is and all this shit." And I'm like, dude, why do you keep texting me? Like, I'm not talking to you anymore. And then he stopped for like an hour. Then he come back and be like, man, franchise is gonna run for like 300 yards on you. I'm just like, what is this shit?
man, he's too funny. Yeah, he was in my ear as well. He's like, "So you gonna win this chip or not?" He's hate to come this far and not win it. And sure enough, I was not able to run the ball in that game. I mean, it was total. I mean, running game was just totally shut down, and then you jumped out to that 10-0 lead, and so we had to kind of hang in there. It
Hey
was a
man,
snowball effect. Yeah.
valiant effort, dude. Valiant effort. Played great D. We after we got that, like I told everybody was asking about, it was like after that going in when you scored those two straight points to go up 14-10, and I knew you were getting the ball at the half. That put a whole lot of pressure on us to try and do something, and then that gave you that INT that I think pretty much completely threw it out of whack at that point. So great game, great win, great game plan. Hopefully
Thank
we
you.
will see you again.
Yeah, yeah, we know you're coming back even more determined, so we're not gonna poke. We had our parade for about 48 hours, and then we went quiet. We're just gonna kind of lay lay low for a little while, try to work on these young guys that we got in the draft, and
That's gonna be
we got a lot of
important for a lot of
regressions.
folks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so thank you for the champ talk. We appreciate it, and we tried to rep the AFC West. B Miles said that your division was the best, so we definitely wanted to do our best.
This guy
To,
had everything written on the bulletin board. He remembers
yeah,
everything everybody says.
yeah, we trying to stay quiet. A lot of people thought we shouldn't have won, and so we're just gonna try to keep working hard over here in Oakland. It's a you know we feel confident.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
All right. All right, let's move on. We want to talk about so season two has arrived, and with a lot of excitement, we had the New York Jets with, I believe, 4 first-round picks, and I think the Washington Redskins also had 3 or almost maybe 4. I don't recall. And so a lot of teams doing a lot of re-engineering of their teams, and this is the part of the Madden that we don't talk about too much, but this GM piece, right? How do you take your team and build them to become a champion, right? So we want to
Well,
kind of look at these rookies.
yeah, let's start with the number one pick, and let's also point out that um, the Lions, who had the number one pick, Lions owner, was not
That's
there for
right.
the draft.
Yeah, yeah, I did notice that. I pinged him. I gave him a heads up, and he kind of said, "Yeah," and and never logged on
Well,
to
I mean,
join.
look, I don't know if his number one need was receiver or not, but they ended up drafting a receiver, a 6'4", 223-pound receiver by the name of C.J. Will Height, and
Ah,
he
UCLA.
has,
That's right.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
got 90 speed, he's got
Mm,
94 acceleration, he's got 84 catch, 85 catch in traffic, 92 spec catch, so he's a good player. He's got normal trait
yeah,
though, so I don't know if that's who he would have taken had he been there, but
that's
um,
a great pick, though.
yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
pick. It's a good pick. So um,
Yeah.
looks like they got a center and some other guys. I know he had the first pick. The second pick was the Patriots, I believe, and they
Now,
got
that's when they take this Joe Namath guy. Is that what they? Is that
yes,
who they took?
this gentleman from Oklahoma who had
Uh-huh.
a name prior to Joe Namath, which I do not know. It
Joe
was like
Namath the third.
it was kind of
Right.
like one of those Marine basic training things where you go in there with one name and you come out with another name before you even get through training camp. But
As long
anyway,
as he can come out. Mm,
this guy is the truth.
mm.
He's a quarterback, Joe Namath third. He has 85 short, 85 mid, 80 deep, 90 throw power, and he
Wow.
and he has superstar trait. So
Wow.
he is going
Wow.
to improve fast, and if for some reason Pedro can get that passing game together and put up some stats with this man, we all know what can happen.
Well,
So
he still has Julian Edelman, and this guy Marcus Wheaton, who he got from, I guess, from Pittsburgh, right? And Stephon Diggs. So he's got the weapons. Chris Hogan, uh, looking for big thing out of the Patriots. I know you recently just played them, right? You just recently played the Patriots.
yeah, I played them in week one. It wasn't super close, but he did give me some problems with some pressure that he had coming. But then I think he played. Who did he play in week two? I think he played Ratchet in week two and lost 24 to nothing. So there still may be some stuff that needs to be
Yeah.
tweaked and tweaked there, but quarterback is not an issue they will have for the rest of this Madden. So they'll get used to
Yeah.
this guy, and I think they'll make some noise eventually. But so he
Yes,
was
sir.
he was there, the big quarterback that was taken, and then I believe the Jets had the third pick, Or am I
The
skipping somebody?
Jets.
Maybe Bahama had the third pick. Either way, both of them have rookies. The Jets did something that has not been done in
Hmm.
the history of the SML that I know of.
Hmm.
They took a guard
With the first pick.
with the fourth, with their first rounder in the fourth round. And it was a
Hmm.
guard that I had on my board. It is Thurman. Yeah,
Is this
Thurman.
Stanley? We're
Stanley
talking about
Thurman.
Stanley Thurman.
Stanley
Yeah.
Thurman out of
Yeah.
Louisville. He is almost an 80, a 79 overall. He's got normal trait, but as a rookie, 86 run
Wow.
block and 83 pass block. So the Jets zeroed in on getting someone who could improve their protection in their run, and they drafted a guard. Um,
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second because offensive line, it does matter. And I think the Jets probably realized that and made that pick. And I actually commend the pick. You could argue should it have been this early, but you don't think a guy like that's going to make it to the second round. Or he did have multiple ones, right? So,
yeah, he was not the top rated guard. He was kind of down the list, and it was funny because he was one of those guys that I looked at and I had on my board, and I was like, man, if no one, if someone didn't do their scouting, and this guy drops, he's gonna be an awesome guy to get because with linemen, you got to make sure they have over 80 block stats to start. If they don't, it's gonna be very difficult to improve whatever they don't have above 80. So, I mean, he was the best lineman in the draft. I don't want to pretend that
yeah.
that was not the case. So, I mean, I think it was a good pick. And I believe line matters. We do know that there are people in our league who do not believe that line matters. But
I believe
I
it.
don't like to see my guys getting tossed around, man. And I don't know. I mean, I would rather know that it is not my line that is doing it than not know. So I commend the pick.
Yeah.
Now this next
Yes.
guy,
Hmm.
the Redskins,
The Redskins.
drafted this running back, Bubba Green Beckham.
Bubba Green, who is on the injured list, by the way.
Bubba Green got hurt in his first game against the Rams.
Is there a story behind Bubba
There's such
Green?
a great story behind this. If any of you, the game was twitched. I'm not sure if it's been
Uh,
uploaded to the SML channel yet, but what happened?
mm,
Let me just. I got to tell the whole story because this shit is just so funny.
yeah.
So I'm sitting here, about to play my game. It's early, and we had sent through the preseason, and I see the injury report come up, and it's like Bubba Green Beckham is out 4 weeks, and I'm like, fuck. Did I like sim a preseason week and not turn injuries off or something? Like I didn't know this dude was playing. Sure enough, he was playing. He was playing the Rams, and he got hurt in the game. He was having a pretty good game too. So Bahamas was just like, this dude's a dud. This is gonna be a long season. So he's like, I want you to look at this game, and I'm gonna show you how he was beasting. And I was like, all right, cool. So I watched the game. I turned on, and this is all in one drive. His first carry, he gets like 5 or 6 yards, and then
Mm,
Bahama no huddles and runs him again, and he gets like
mm,
5 or 6 yards. And then he doesn't know huddle. He goes back to the huddle, but he's not checking this guy's stamina. He's not checking his water levels or anything like that. So he passes one time. It's like an incomplete pass. Then he runs him again, and then he runs him
mm,
again, and then he no huddles, and he runs him again. And then like the fourth time he runs him, this guy fumbles. And then I don't know if he got hurt on that series or not, but now, mind
mm.
you, on these 7 plays where he ran him 6 out of these 7 plays, he did not look at this dude's energy one time. Like, he didn't think about something him or anything. I'm like, man,
Oh
hey,
my goodness.
maybe this guy got hurt because you ran him 6 out of 7 plays and no huddle twice. Just think about that. He's like,
Yeah,
whatever, man. He's supposed to be ready for that. I'm like, okay. All right.
I don't know. He's out with an abdominal tear for 3 more weeks. It looks like.
That dude was probably
So,
black on the screen. You look at him, his stamina
uh,
was probably black. He's like,
yeah, he's
please,
got good.
coach, give
He's
me.
got this. He's got the superstar trait too.
Oh, he does.
93
He is
speed.
gonna be 93 speed. I think he's got pretty good elusive stats. Let me
Yeah, he's
see,
a 90
77 truck, which could be
acceleration.
built. Stiff arm, 91 stiff arm, 90 juke, 89 spin move, decent catch. So if he can learn how to manage him and have a good season with him, injuries on him are really gonna hurt though because he is gonna be behind the 8 ball on those awards. And like I said, awards are all that matter. So he's gonna have
For a
some makeup
rookie.
time to do when he gets back. But I mean, he's got the potential to be a good one.
But his injury number is 84, which is kind of low. It is kind of low.
Yeah, there's a multitude of reasons and a multitude of things I can say as to why he should not have been running that dude like that. But
Yeah. Blame
I
it on
mean,
coach. Blame it on coach.
there ain't no training staff that's gonna stop that from working. But so he drafted
Wow.
him. I don't really remember. He's got a linebacker named Paperboy out of Georgia Tech, uh,
Oh,
who is a 79 overall with 87 speed. Wow, 85 tackle, 83 block shed. So he drafted
yeah.
him.
These guys
Um,
are cheap. 740,000 a year. I mean, he's got a great bargain there.
yeah, he's got. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what you expect from Muhammad season two, season three.
Yeah.
A whole bunch
Yeah.
of young
91 hit
studs.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whole bunch of young studs. So him. So I mean, he's got a nice little team. Um, I always also want to point out the Bears got a really solid quarterback to replace Jay Cutler. His name is Lance School.
Yeah, we actually saw him play today. He was playing against the Giants today.
Yeah,
He
so he
started.
is 89 throw power, 88 short, 81 mid, 92 deep. He's got the potential to develop into something special. Um,
Yeah.
who else
And
got
it's,
some good guys? The Dolphins had a bunch of
oh yeah,
picks.
the Dolphins. The Dolphins. Yeah, they did a big re-engineering of that team.
Yeah,
Um,
they got trying to remember, I know they got a linebacker, Warris Ric Flair, 81 overall, 82 speed. I think this is that middle linebacker that he moved. 88 tackle,
right.
86 hit power, 86 block shed, 81 power move, 84 pursuit. Wow, he is an all around player. He's gonna be
There's,
ready to go.
there's War is Ric Flair. Yeah, I mean, you could tell the first round draft picks did materialize well for a lot of teams. You could see that those ones are very valuable.
Yeah, Seattle got a nice cornerback, Deion Sanders. What a unique name.
Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah, that, never heard of him
Um,
before.
so there are a bunch of young players, and the thing is they start a little lower, like they start right around 78, 80. But like I said, we've seen how fast these dudes come up. So there's gonna be a situation where a lot of these guys are gonna you're gonna see them popping up on the radar pretty soon.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers just kicked off. So
Brotherly warfare.
yeah, that game is just kicked off for those following at home. Uh, but yeah, this Deion Sanders, as you said, at 92 speed, opposite Richard Sherman. I don't know if he had him in that last game where the Titans scored 50 points, but they want to get these guys up to speed as quickly as
I think
possible.
the stats on that game are out of control. Doug Baldwin had like
Yeah,
263 yards on like
yeah,
16
this
catches,
guy's,
and you lose with that. So,
yeah,
hey, the Titans, man,
yeah,
Mariota's out there averaging about 420 yards a game. So, we know what
yeah,
they like to
and
do.
yep, and they got Darrell Revis on their team now, so that was a great addition to go along with Jason McCourty and Bryce McCain. So they're building up that defense out in Tennessee.
Yeah,
And
they're going the. It seems to be they are taking advantage of this market where everybody's trying to dump these older dudes and get younger
that's
dudes, and
right.
they're like, "You got older dudes? Let me get them."
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Laurel
it's
Bowman. Yeah, yeah.
yep. So hey, to each his own. There are multiple ways to build this thing.
Yeah, regression though is taking a serious hit to this talent though. I am saying I
Regression
am
is real.
experiencing that. Yeah, and it seems like 29 is the age, right? Looks like
Yeah, 28 is an age that will happen too, but you can get to 20 like if you've got a guy who has a great season and he's got a decent trait, you can go to 28 and not diminish. So like Julio Jones didn't go down and he just turned 28, but 29 is that age where I think you're guaranteed to lose -2 on some physical trait, which would be like speed, throw power, that type of stuff. But you can keep your accuracies and stuff like that. So But physical traits at 29, and then after 29, 30 on, you are going to lose every year. There's nothing you can do about it. I was just talking earlier today. I was just saying like, okay, I get the. I mean, okay, they need to regress. I understand that, but the thing I don't like is the whole 26. You cannot get better. Like it is so much harder to make a dude better once he's 26. That age needs to be like 27. I mean, players can get
Yeah,
better 25, 26, right in that age range. I think they took it a little bit to the extreme.
yeah. I mean, it puts a premium on how many seasons we have. I mean, obviously you're running 7 and 8. I think they kind of looking at all these sim
Yeah,
seasons, and
and it
they were
puts a
probably
premium
trying.
puts a
Yeah,
premium on draft picks, which is a good thing. So
it does. It does. And we had a new owner join us, and that sort of was his uh, philosophy that he wanted to build young, and he did trade away some older talent with that in mind. So he clearly came in with a plan. So I did want to give a big shout out to our new owner, Chase, out there in San Francisco, and hopefully turning that team around and doing big things out there. We're hearing some good reviews about him.
hey, Big Chase, man. Chase is my man. Outside of the fact that he is a Eagles fan, it is a big deal that I mean, this is like every owner who's been in here with the 49ers and these sorry teams are like, okay, I'll take them. But Chase is the first
Yeah,
one who's been like, I was like, dude, if
yeah,
another team opens up, we'll look out for you. And he was like, no, I want this is what I want to do. Like this team, it's gonna be fun to build these guys. So that's great that you
yeah. I
got an owner
respect
with the
that.
team. Yeah, exactly. And he's like into it. So and he's active, which is awesome. So hopefully that will continue to be the case, and we have another good one added to this group of owners that we have.
Yeah, I'm looking around as any other notable rookies. I saw, just looking around, I'm trying to see if we see any other notables that,
I'm thinking about some other people. Who else is out there? It seems
let's
like
see.
the receiver pool this year wasn't that good. Um,
Nah, it wasn't. Let's see here. Doing a sort by age here just to see what's out there. Look like the
London
don't let me
Kennedy
look at
for
the
the
Dolphins.
Chiefs. I don't know if he's
Yeah, and the
good.
Chiefs didn't. That's another team that didn't make the draft. So the CPU took that player, and turns out that's a good player, wide receiver, 6'2", 224 out of Wisconsin, and he definitely is. Who did the Falcons get? The Falcons got
We got a safety, but he was not. We didn't have a first round draft pick. We traded our first round pick for tight end Hunter Henry.
Leon
Uh,
Parson is who
well, we
you
got
got. That's
Leon
right.
Parsons, who's learning on the
290
fly.
speed.
He's gonna be a nice little player after he gets to sit in the film room for a little while.
Yeah, he's gonna be right there with the Keanu Neal. Those two will be patrolling the secondary in Atlanta in the future.
They
Um,
like to knock people's
but
heads off, man. That 91
yeah, we
hit
also
power.
saw you traded Jacob Tammy away after
We
the Super
actually
Bowl performance. Was that what happened there?
no, we just did not. We had already decided that we were not going to resign Jacob Tammy because Jacob Tammy
Okay.
wanted stupid money to be the age that he
Mm,
was. Jacob Tammy wanted about 5 million a year, so we had tried everything we could to get Jacob Tammy the hell out of our office, but his agent just kept calling us, and he's like, hey, Jacob wants to meet with you again. He wants to meet with you again. I'm like, all right, Jacob, we'll offer you the league minimum, and he'd be like, hell no, I'm done. And the next day, his agent would be calling me again. I'm like, dude, you're not coming back here for what you want. It's not gonna happen. So he is on the Rams now.
and you get a steal. This is I'm calling a steal when I saw this. Hunter Henry, who was in San Diego, I believe,
Yes,
right?
he was. Yes, he was. We
I
like
think
that
that's
young
just a
buck.
great deal. Yeah, it's a
We
great
like that
deal.
young buck. We had to come off a first for it, but our main goal in that draft in the first round was to draft a tight end, and the tight end market was horrible.
Yes, it was.
So
I think that's a great deal for
there was
him.
not a single tight end out there that we thought was capable of starting on our team. So we were like, hey, once we saw that, we have good relations with the Chargers office, and Ratchet wanted the first, so it worked out well.
And you also got some big guards, some 3'6'4", 316-pound guard named Anton Evie coming out of Florida. So that's another big body there that you
We're
got
happy,
over
man.
there.
We got some young
Yeah,
guys who are ready to play. So I'm looking at
good
some of these
deal.
results this week, man. I did not know that the Rams lost. Are we? We're not at that
That
segment yet,
was
are we? Are we at that
Yeah,
segment yet?
yeah. Let's move right into it. We're done with the review. I actually saw that game, and when I tuned in, the I think it was like a three touchdown lead when I joined that game, and the Texans were just on fire. I mean, they were total. I mean, the score, this game wasn't even that close. I think the Rams got it to within two touchdowns late, but they were totally in charge of that game. Um,
Man, it's a theme. You remember last year we were talking about this theme with Todd
we
Gurley,
we did, and let's go look at Todd. Let's look at Todd's line
MVP
before we
Todd
say
Gurley.
that. Todd Gurley the second, as he's listed here. Todd had 13 carries today for 50 yards. Now this may have been because
They were
the
down.
Texans jumped on. Yep, Texans jumped all over them. But Jared Goff just was not on his game today. Three interceptions.
Well, the Rams had that press release last week that Gurley was on the
Yeah.
block and it was Jared Goff's team. And how does he respond?
hmm Well,
Two
who
TDs,
who
three
should be
interceptions.
starting there?
I'm not. I
Sam
mean,
Bradford is on that team, right?
yeah,
Sam
he
Bradford
is.
is on that roster. So,
You can't pull that rookie,
Coach,
man.
no,
Well, he's not a rookie anymore, but you pull him and his confidence is shot forever, man.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Is this the typical Rams slow start and then they
Yep,
rally to come back at the end and save the day? Is
it
this what
is.
we expect to see
It
from him?
is. He doesn't get up for every game. He gets up for the big ones. But these
Yeah,
these games against these opponents where he's favored, those are the games he's gonna have to get up for if he wants to take that next step.
all right. That's the kickoff of our season preview, and I'm hoping he didn't underestimate the Texans. The Texans were a playoff team last year. They beat Pittsburgh in week one on a overtime win that had them come from behind against the hard luck Steelers. And so let me just kind of look through week one, and I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team that had a lot of fanfare. I think they had the number two or three pick in the draft, and they are putting up some points now. And I think they have found their way. We're hearing some media coming out of Arizona that this is their season. This is kind of what I'm hearing coming out of Arizona. So are you buying or selling the Arizona Cardinals?
Mm. I mean, the thing I will say is that he won week two. They beat the Packers, I believe.
He beat the
So
Green Bay Packers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a game that he would have lost last year. So
hmm
I mean, they made some moves on defense. They had a couple trades. They picked up I don't remember who it is. They picked up a middle linebacker from the Jets, who I heard some media reports saying that he was their missing piece on defense. We already know what they have out there in the secondary, and Carson Palmer is still elite, and they got a nice little young backup behind him. I mean, they've got the team. So if they can play consistent, man, I mean, right now it looks like they're winning the games that they weren't winning last year. So I mean, it's hard to say, man. I mean, I'd love to pick them, but it's so difficult because it just seems like that psychological edge the Rams have over them is something that I'm still not sure they're going to be able to overcome. So I'm still selling that stock.
Whoa, you're not buying the
He's gonna
Arizona
have to beat.
Cardinals?
He's gonna have to beat the Rams, man. I'm not buying Arizona Cardinal stock until they beat the Rams. Just not.
So that's the Rams division in your mind. Is that what you're
I
saying?
I didn't say that either because this 49ers guy, I don't really know. He's got a game this week against the Redskins that's gonna tell me a lot. It's gonna
hmm
tell me. Have they played that game yet? I don't think they played that game yet.
Which game is that? The
I think the
49.
Redskins and the 49ers play this week.
They do. I have not seen a start for that one yet. They do, and I'm curious to see how that one plays.
Yeah,
I'll
so
learn
that
a
one
lot about both teams. Yeah,
I gotta see, man. It's early. It's too early. Too early to
yeah.
know. But I do not. I cannot give. I cannot give them the edge over the Rams right now because that is a team that has been
Mhm,
a pain in their side so far
mhm.
this Madden season. So
All right. The next game I wanted to talk about was the San Diego Chargers and the Denver Broncos, who we've not spoken about a lot, but I think we should start talking about. Are you buying or selling the Denver Broncos with a 17 nothing shutout the 13-3 San Diego Chargers from last year?
hey, man, that is impressive because the Chargers. We all know the Chargers can put it up. The Chargers can put it up. So
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I mean, BK. We all know BK is a tough coach. So I don't know what was going on
Yeah.
last year, but to come in there and shut out San Diego is it had made me. The first thing I thought when I saw that was, oh, somebody might have woke up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a little bit cautiously, but not a lot cautiously, cause
Yeah, some penny stock.
I'll buy, man. You never know. You never know. That win is impressive though. The Chargers are one of the best offenses in the league generally, so to
Yeah.
hold them to 0 points, and I haven't had a chance to
Mhm,
really look at the box score from that game, but that's pretty impressive.
mhm. Next, the Minnesota Vikings and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicked off the season in a game that was blacked out in the United States, but we see that the Minnesota Vikings won by two, and these are both playoff teams. Are you buying Minnesota after their very disappointing and beat down by the Atlanta Falcons in the conference finals?
Little do we. There's two things about Minnesota that have me buying pretty strongly. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers is healthy. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
there was an under the radar trade where they picked up Jordan Reed. I don't know if you saw
Ooh,
that.
yes, I do. I did see that, and
Yes.
it's a
So
very interesting deal. I'll put quotes around interesting. It looks like the Redskins are
those
still trying to get
Redskin
younger. Yeah,
analytics.
but do you? But I don't know. I mean, do you trade a guy like that in the
No,
conference?
no,
That was my thought there,
no.
Monk. I'm with you. That's one of those premier players in the league, and he's already traded Norman, and now he's traded Reed. Has he gone too far?
It's one of
I don't
those
know.
things with Reed, man. I mean, I understand you want to get younger, but I think it was one of those things with Reed where he was like not getting a lot of production out of him, so he felt like he could just insert anyone in there and get that same level of of
Mm,
of no production. But my thinking on that would be, okay, I really got to find some way to get Jordan Reed involved because he's one of the best tight ends on the game. So
mm,
I did not agree with that trade. But I mean, it's not my team. But yeah, Polo having Jordan Reed with the way he passes the ball is gonna be a problem. Like Polo is going to figure out how to get that man the
mm.
ball, and
Yeah,
that's just another weapon you got to guard on that offense.
yep. He's one of those guys that will not be dropping the ball in traffic, and
And
those are the
will
kind
run
of
the
guys.
sharpest of routes.
That's right. That's right. Another game that sort of stood out to me was the Packers and the Cowboys, and I have to admit, I was a little surprised that Green Bay was able to hold down the running game for Dallas and sort of a grinded out game beat Dallas. Are you surprised by that? And are you buying any Billy Harvey stock with the Packers?
They did beat Dallas last year, so I don't find that result to be too surprising. Um, but then they went out this week and got smashed by the Cardinals. And
Yeah,
week three they play me.
yeah. So it's not looking.
So I mean, could he win that game? Yes. But if he does not
Mm,
win that game, he will be 1-2, and
mm.
Polo will very likely be 3-0. And
Uh,
he plays the Bears. So no, I
mm,
cannot buy. I can I
Not
cannot
buying
buy.
the Green Bay. All right. I think from week one, Atlanta, you played the Patriots. It was an opportunity for the Patriots to sort of kick off the season, and we talked a little bit about Joe Namath the third. But I mean, was the game as easy as it looked there, or
It
it
was a
was kind
look.
of tight
No,
up
it
into the
wasn't.
half, right?
It wasn't. It was a tight game. It was 7-7 late in the second quarter, and
Hmm.
I think he threw a pick maybe, and then Julio made a couple catches on third and 29, 28, and one really big deep bomb down to the one with like 30 seconds left in the second quarter. In the second half, it kind of got out of hand, but we had some protection issues that game, and he was bringing some heat. So it was a much closer game than the score showed, but we were able to pull it out somehow. But the Patriots, man, I want to see them do well. I want to see them do well. We were talking about it today. Coach P, the truth has, he's one of the original members of the SML, and you wouldn't know it because it's been so long since he's been coaching. But back in his heyday, he had 5 or 6 Super Bowl appearances. So I think he's got it in him, but it's an adjustment coming back to Madden after taking all that time
Yeah.
off. So
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Okay, and then week two, by the way, the Redskins and the 49ers just kicked off, and on the first play of the game, took it to the house. So it's already 7-0 Washington over San
he
Francisco.
ran the kickoff back.
No, it's a slant to a wide receiver whose name we don't know, but we did see a dive into the end zone and
Alrighty then.
we got 0-0 in the second quarter with Tampa Bay and Carolina.
That's gonna be a
No
one of
score.
those games where they beat their heads up against each other. It's like Alabama LSU.
And earlier today we saw the Giants in a 7-0 old school smash mouth game beat the Bears. I know we don't talk about the Bears much, but I did want to talk about the new coach Ginger Maggie 12. He's kind of taken over the Giants this year, and we're looking to see what he can do in that NFC East division. So gonna keep our eye on him.
He promised an NFC East championship this year. So the one
Uh,
complaint we have about him is there's already some controversy over how he treats media members.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, he just it's been said that when the broadcast cameras show up, he's got a special section for him, and that crap is like way up in like row ZZZ. And they're complaining about not being able to get good shots on the field while they're recording. So hopefully that's something we can rectify. But right now, the camera angle in those Giants games, don't expect to get much, but a damn ant farm out of that.
Yeah. All right. And we got our next topic is uh, a lot of media attention this week about the new uh, rule implemented related to twitching of games and funds associated with that. So um, there was a vote, and it looks like it passed with a good majority that people wanted to see these games, and uh, and ultimately there's a reward now associated with getting these games twitched. So can you talk a little bit about that, and let's dig. This is our outside the line segment where we kind of go behind the scenes about this twitching and contract effects.
Yeah, so we wanted to have an incentive to twitch these games. So we came up with the idea of paying in owner funds $10 million. You'll hear me refer to it as a TV contract for $320 million. Basically, if you twitch or have twitched 12 games in a year and all of your playoff games, you will be paid $10 million in owner funds. And there's been endless debate about this, about it. Some people thought that it provided an advantage to people, which I don't agree with. Everybody should have a good amount of funds now. $10 million is really only gonna, I think, encourage people to maybe do a stadium upgrade or something like that. I don't know anyone who doesn't have any funds, and this is gonna be the difference between you signing a free agent or not signing a free agent. But anyway, these are the type of concerns that came up. Um, there was also we also tried to do an incentive as far as um, increasing the chances of you getting to pick a team next, man. But people shot that down, so it'll just be the funds. And then there's also the issue of people saying that, well, if you're twitching these games, people are going to be able to scout me, and that's not fair. And I don't really buy
Mm-hmm.
that. Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, people can see what you're doing, but again, they can't see who you're going to throw to. And they may prepare for one play, and in turn, you should prepare. Well, what am I going to do if they think I'm going to run this play? It can be used against people. I mean, I think that's a part of the game. I think a lot of people to spend more
Mm-hmm.
time on is okay, this person knows I like to do this. If they call,
Mm-hmm.
what number one, what do they have to call to stop me from doing this? And number two, what is going to be open because they are trying to stop me from doing this? And that will, I think, open up a whole nother avenue as far as okay, this is how I'm going to get better. Um,
Well, I mean, I have strong feelings on this, and this is because this is my take on it. First of all, the two owners arguably who twitched the most were in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I don't know what you could say about that, but first of all, you're not at a competitive disadvantage. And if what I also think that it does, and this is kind of what we were talking about on the boards, is there's an increased interest within the league to stay abreast of what games going on. And often you're sitting around and you get that link that a game is kicked off. You get to, I mean, I can't even tell you, I would never see a Giants Bears game, just by virtue of being in the AFC. Those are teams that I just never see. And it's kind of good to see what other coaches and other owners are doing, and not even from a scouting advantage, just from an interest perspective. And it keeps us, those dog days of season 4 as we approach season 5s, and just to know games are kicking off. And plus we also have a history now. I'm tired of this. Hey, remember back when Boots was in the league? And
yeah,
if I hear that one more time, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to pull up some footage of that and see, some of these. BK won his championships. It'd be nice to see these games in an archive somewhere, but we don't have any record of it because cats out here trying to hide their extra, super confidential schemes. And it's like, listen, nothing's new now. Madden's been out for a few months now. There's nothing new,
it's
right?
at a
So,
point now where somebody comes out in a formation, you kind of know what to
yeah,
expect. You've either looked at
exactly.
this formation, tried this formation, or seen somebody who runs it, and you're like, okay, these are the type of
Yeah,
plays that I know are going to
yeah,
hurt me out of this formation.
yeah. It's overrated, and it's disappointing because then there's some folks that love to watch a game but are not willing to twitch. So that's on the other side of that. So it's kind of I just think there would be no need for the incentives if everybody twitched, right? It would just be plus there's a
Exactly. Oh, I
and
agree.
you asked a question about interest level, and it does help in recruiting owners because we're in competition with a lot of these leagues that are doing these things and more. I mean, there's another league. They've got a full virtual reality talk show. Cats are coming online with suits and ties. I mean, I've seen some really innovative things that, we're in competition with. And, if you're just kind of doing the basic stuff from 2010 and 11, it doesn't help. Let's put it this way. It's not, it doesn't help.
Yeah,
So,
well, like I said, I'm in favor. The more unique content we can bring outside of the game, I think it's really important. And you agree with that? It's just the more we can do, the better. I welcome anybody who wants to create content to do it, but it's only so many hours in the day that we have, and I think with twitching and the YouTube and this show, and then power rankings, obviously, I think those are all things that help.
yeah.
it's
And let me
go ahead.
and I want to say this because we're not getting paid here, and some may say that I'm being a homer, but I want to give a big shout out to the commissioner, you for making a lot of this stuff happen. The power rankings, people hit you up like, that doesn't take time to put together. You put together a video montage of the games of the plays of the year, and there's an effort involved there, and I think people take that stuff for granted. We're not getting paid, and it's for the love of Madden and the league, and making sure that it evolves and keeps going. So it's those little things, making sure the league's well run and dealing with all of the different views.
Yeah.
It takes an inordinate amount of patience. So
I mean,
big up to you on that.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the power rankings are one of the things that I know everybody likes the most. But those things that takes a long time to do, and when I say long time, I mean like 2 or 3 hours
Yeah,
of time to
yeah,
do. And I wanted to do it a different way, but it's been made even more difficult now because we don't have daddy leagues yet where we could just go in there and I could pull stats on, who's the top defenses, who's the top offenses, that kind of stuff. That makes it a lot harder that I don't have that. Hopefully, we'll be getting that pretty soon. Kind of have a little update on that, not a huge one, but so that takes a long time. But in order to do it right, it's something I have to do, and usually I just do it while I'm watching a football game or something like that. So I know you guys want them more often, but I just don't have 3 hours of time to do all that, except for maybe once or twice a month.
yeah. It's not like you don't got a family and a wife and all
Yeah,
that, right?
the wife is very understanding of my Madden obsession, which I greatly appreciate. But sometimes she's like, "Fuck Madden,
Yeah.
we're about to watch this show."
Yeah, absolutely. And well, so one more topic before we go to the last segment of Stir the Pot is we didn't talk about this, but we were talking about it earlier, the Miami Dolphins. So in the cap situation. So the the Miami Dolphins came back from what close to a $50 million penalty, and all of their starters, um, you know, they redid their team basically, and they drafted 6 or 7 rookies and made those replacement. And so, the Miami Dolphins were in the AFC Championship game, and amidst all of that, with the $50 million penalty, we're able to do that. So I wanted to recognize that. I don't think they've gotten much media attention. Again, it's not no small feat getting to the AFC Championship game with that scenario and all these no names that they have on their team now. I don't even know if you know any of these guys, but Alex Luger and some guy named Gordon and Watts. I mean, these are not household names.
Yeah,
Rick Flair we
there's
talked about.
yeah, they had a plan, they executed it, and they overachieved. Like you said, no one expected them to make it where they made it with that team, and that is a team kind of like the Redskins where like they made it that far with the first iteration of that team. Like once these guys are built up and get older and mature, that team is going to be a really good team. And you can't do anything but credit Tin Man for putting in the time. Um, but he is like there was some pretty two cap issues that kind of came up on and around the draft. The Dolphins cap issue, they ended up having to cut a bunch of players to re-sign. Um, who was it? J.J. Nelson.
Yeah, the
Yeah, they,
receiver.
they
Yeah.
ended up having to cut a bunch of players to re-sign him. They weren't very happy about that, but hey, move it or lose it. He's got a $49.3 million cap penalty this year, and
Which
he's
is unheard of.
and he's got
Unheard of.
1.12 million in cap space. And the other issue was the Cardinals didn't really have. They actually had managed their cap much better than most people thought. But where they
Uh-huh.
messed up was they went into free agency and spent money, and then they traded the people that they signed in free
Yeah.
agency. and that just accrued cap penalty. So now he's got a $23.5 million cap penalty, and he's got 1.61 million in cap space. And he actually had a trade worked out that ended up having to be reversed because he didn't have the cap
Mm,
space to complete the trade.
yeah, yeah.
And then
So,
there's also the great BK who's sitting on negative 3.47 million in cap space with only a $4 million cap penalty. He's like, what can I do? I'm like, you have got to get rid of some of these players on your team that are making a whole lot of money. Is what you gotta do. There's not much
yeah,
more you can
Von
do other
Miller.
than that. Von Miller, Thomas makes 12 million. The free
Yeah.
safety makes 9 million. Garcon makes 9 million. Talib 9 million, Wolf 9 million, Chris Harris 8 million. They just have a lot. Of, Sanders is making 7 million. They just have a lot of players on their team that are making $5 million or more. So at
Marcus
some
Ware,
point,
yeah,
yeah,
hopefully. Yeah.
at some point these old dudes are gonna have to be replaced with young dudes. And I don't know how that transition is gonna happen, but it's gonna have to happen because Von Miller is set to make $33 million next year.
Wow. Unbelievable.
33 million, and in 2020, $37.9 million. That is
And it goes
insane.
up to 43.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's
Oh.
crazy. That is
Mm.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
have
he's
a
got some
feeling.
numbers here.
I have a feeling Vaughn is going to be.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what Vaughn
Uh-oh.
is going to be, but goodness gracious,
Uh-oh.
that's a
And the
lot of
trade
money.
blocks. Uh-oh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I could never pay a player that much money unless he was a quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah. All right, well this is what you sign up for when you take the Denver Broncos, but they're 1-0 and they play Buffalo tonight, we believe.
Yeah, I think
All
they're
right,
kicking off
let's
round
go
two.
to we got about 5 minutes left. We'll go to Stir the Pot and wrap up the show. Stir the Pot number one says Gabe only has 24 guys on his roster, and pretty much he's good with that. I didn't know he had that little. I think he does not have every like a full 52 man roster,
Oh,
but
is that a true
those
statement?
25, he's got a little bit of guys on his roster. I don't know if anybody noticed. He's got four quarterbacks now, but
That's
uh,
hilarious. Hey man, when you got cap penalties, dude, you gotta go thin. You gotta go
yeah.
thin. You better have a good trainer, or you gonna have a punter playing quarterback.
And next, this is the Gabe section. And next stir the pot says Gabe talks a lot and can't even beat lawns. Now, it says now that Chase has joined the division, is Gabe even favored to be number two in that division? And then it says, where does Gabe stack up in this division now? Wow, a lot of kudos to the new owner
Hey man,
already.
Gabe has a lot of fans, man. Yeah, the 49ers owner played a tough game against the Titans, and that impressed a lot of people, um, including the Titans owner.
Hmm.
But I mean, like I said, I really got to see how this week works out against this Redskins team that doesn't have a lot of confidence. If he can win this game, then maybe. But I mean, I'm not willing to completely write Gabe off yet. I'm not really buying yet, but at the same time, he's 2-0. This 49ers dude could be easily 0-2 if he loses to the Redskins. And look, man, Gabe's team is he's got a team, so I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say Gabe is gonna stay second for now, but that could change. Still early.
You'll probably figure out who this next stir the pot says. It says also the Cardinals would have lost their game to be last year because they wouldn't have returned a kickoff for a touchdown followed by a fumble in scoring range in the fourth quarter. Bogus lucky game. So
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If I should have been, if a shift was a if, there's a fifth. I don't even remember the damn saying. If a what is it? If a if was a fifth, we'd all be fucked up. Man, whatever.
mm,
You still talking about games you should have won last year. Just
all right.
make up for it, and win those games this year. Let's do that.
All right. Next, it says Chase is a breath of fresh air We need more owners like him. Don't mess him up, it says.
Hey
All
man, if I
right.
could have 32 chases, I'd
Yeah,
be a
that
happy
would be.
dude.
Yeah, we got to let him know about the show. He's actually down 10-0, so he's got his own issues as we speak. Next, it says guys are hating on Harvey, but he is slowly becoming a force.
What?
That's why yeah, it says that's why Polo is hiding his games from him, and he's scared, making up excuses. Billy punking him, it says.
I don't know, man. I mean, he was right. He was right there on the brink last year. Um, but I'm not gonna go as far as to use the word force in the same sentence
Yeah,
as Billy Harvey yet.
yeah. Force and Billy are not synonymous. Okay,
but
okay.
uh, but I mean, Billy is. I'm not even gonna talk about Billy. I play
Okay.
Billy next week. I'm not giving Billy any locker room material.
I'll give him no bulletin board material.
Nope.
Okay. Next, it says, will all the picks that the Jets and the Skins have acquired turn into something? We really need a season 5. Let these guys build, man.
Well, I can't really speak for the Jets because I think the Jets is still trying to. I mean, hell, now that I say that, I think the Redskins are still trying to find their way. But they, I think Muhammad's not gonna have any issue building defensive guys. Like he had two linebackers last year who he was already able to build just off of playing solid defense. Solid user control. So his linebackers are gonna be good. His defense is gonna be good. Offensively, he is still struggling. But he understands what it takes to build these guys. And this Madden, like I've said 100 times, is unique in the sense that if you have a good season, you're going to be rewarded. So this team is going to be talented. Whether they win games or not is a completely different animal. Todd is following a similar formula with the Jets, but I don't know if he has the ability to put up the stats that are going to be needed to really bump these guys up really fast. So remains to be seen, but um, they put themselves in a position to have some good teams.
All right, that is a good point, and we'll see how quickly they can ascend, as they say. And next, it says everyone that Monk talked shit about on his team failed him in the Super Bowl. It said Tammy and Brooks. Tammy dropped passes and Brooks got hurt. Serves him right, it says. Wow.
Hey man,
Uh,
I'm a little upset with
Besides,
Jacob Tammy, but
yeah.
he was leaving anyway. So I mean that is what it is. But other than that, man, it was just bad coaching, bad clock management late. I can't blame my players. Coach's fault. We'll try not to repeat those mistakes this year.
All right, I think we got the last one here. Is this the last one? Okay, yeah, this is the last one. It says Ratchet may need a new GM. Why is dude always trading his quarterback? What kind of issues does he have?
I don't get this whole Ratchet Phillip Rivers thing, man. I just don't.
Uh,
Like halfway through the season, this guy starts the season. Phillip Rivers starts the season coming out of the box with one of the highest quarterback ratings in the league, and then just out of the blue, he's just like, "I'm not playing this dude anymore." I'm looking at his stats. I'm like, this guy is super accurate. And he's like, man, this guy can't throw. This guy can't throw. And I'm like, why are you not playing Phillip Rivers? And then he trades, and then he doesn't start him this year, and then he trades for Garoppolo, and he's through with Garoppolo, and Rivers is still better than Garoppolo right now. So I don't know, man.
yeah,
Maybe Phillip Rivers has some dirt on him, man. Maybe there's something going on with that Phillip Ratchet relationship that we don't know about.
yeah, maybe I heard it was the throwing motion with Philip Rivers, and I'm not
Maybe it's a
sure,
thermal. I
but
mean, it is. There is a comfort level with your quarterbacks too. I don't want to completely write it off as just something we don't understand. There is a comfort level with the quarterback that you're playing with, and if if you're not used to how they throw or what they're gonna throw or whatever, that can play a role. So I don't want to completely write that off either.
Yeah. All right. We're at the top of the hour. I want to thank you, my co-host, for another great show. Just before we leave, the Redskins up 17-7 over San Francisco, and it looks like Carolina's up 7-3 in the fourth quarter. So we'll try to catch the ending of those. Thanks for all of the information, Monk, on a great chalk show.
Anytime, brother. See you next week.
All
Take it
right,
easy
man.
on people, man.
Later.
Take it easy on people
Oh,
between now and then. You can't be going out there destroying folks, man. It's not you're gonna make the game not
oh,
fun for other people.
vanilla ice cream is what we call it. All right, man.
All right, bro.